Welcome to On Second Thought. I'm John Price, and I'm here with our pastor, Jay Hackett, where every week we take a deeper dive into life at Peachtree Corners Baptist Church. Whether we're talking about the latest sermon, upcoming events, or just whatever's on Jay's mind, this is your insider look at our church, our staff, and what makes PCBC your church on the corner. So join our conversation as we help you find community, purpose, and growth. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to On Second Thought. This is episode 55, and we have a special one today. It's a crazy week, VBS week, but also Wallace Jones, our missions and outreach pastor, is here. So he's going to be telling us a little bit about their trip that they just went on and maybe some future stuff that is coming down the pike as well. But
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So this episode is brought to you by Suntan Lotion number 308, as our pale legs are now being exposed.
Yeah.
But, apparently
Todd's going to have to set the levels.
Yeah. Todd, best of luck with that. No, yeah, man, VBS. How about we go that?
Bougie,
We're exhausted, man. It's been a long week already, day 3.
Yeah.
But everything has gone so well. I will tell you this, that Susan and Mallory and Kelly have done a fantastic job of putting everything together.
Yeah.
And we have had so many kids on this campus, so many volunteers. I mean, 220-something volunteers. I mean, it's like we've already ran out of snacks once or twice in the snack room, by how many volunteers that we've got. And so many people that are here helping with security, helping with everything down in the rooms. And it runs so smooth. And that's what I love. Things are chaotic and crazy, but yet everything runs so well. And I'm just so appreciative of all of our volunteers and people that are stepping up this week. And
Cheryl and Brenda Steinman. And Cheryl Harrier did a fantastic job in what I call the student lounge.
Yeah, that's where they all are.
the teachers' break room, but it's like packed with the students that are helping out. They've done a fantastic job, and I think most of that stuff was just donated by our people.
Correct.
Those snacks.
Correct.
And then the people who handle the snacks have been working hard. Kelly kind of worked with me in ordering some of that stuff. I'm actually making 68 pounds of icing this afternoon.
All right.
Yeah, so that's for Thursday and Friday. The food side. Did you have any responsibilities?
No.
You just kind of stand.
I think everybody at our church knows that I have zero responsibility. I'm just here to look good. Yeah, I just stand around, glad hand, high five the kids.
You add to the excitement.
I prayed
Keep
a couple
the energy
of times.
Up.
So pastors are good for that.
That's right.
I love having a capable staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really has made things so much easier. And it's just like, hey, if you're around, do this. If not, we got it.
Yeah.
But they've been staying on top of it, and it's been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Wallace, kind of tell your involvement in VBS.
VBS, it's just the talk of the town. So many kids. There's a waiting list for kids to come here because it's so well done. It's just amazing. So, each year we do try to raise money for a commission project. And this year we're raising money for Fully Furnished, a local ministry here that donates furniture to those in need. And so we're raising money for cribs. Nice. They can't take used cribs to give to families in need for liability reasons. So they have to give new cribs. They're kind of like pack and play, these portable cribs. So we are encouraging the kids to raise money to buy these cribs that they can give to families in need right here in our community. So it's just a fantastic thing to be able to do.
Yeah. And had a visual this morning. We had the pack and play up there, and Logan brought Matthew up, set him in it, and it was great. And Wallace interviewed Matthew.
I did.
He didn't have a lot to say, but luckily you could read his mind, and you were telling us what he was thinking.
He was quieter than the parent dedication.
Was much quieter than the parent dedication.
He had a lot to say that day.
He did have a lot to say that day. And I'm like, of course, this is the preacher kid, kind of a thing with Logan. But no, it was great to see that. And I think our goal is like 40
cribs.
40 cribs.
$6,800 total.
$6,800. Okay. And as of today, I think we raised like just under 1,000.
Yeah.
And so, that number always expounds,
skyrockets.
In the last 2 or 3 days of VBS.
A lot of energy around it. Are you doing kind of the guys versus girls or up?
Yeah, there's two
versus-
teams.
okay.
So not only with the relay competitions during the worship rally, but also
Right.
the giving. There's the green brights and the green lights and the pink brights.
There you go.
Are the two teams, and so they're trying to compete with who can do more. So
Yeah, that's fun.
always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The boy girl thing got ugly, I think, a couple of years back.
Okay.
So we started doing it more grade
grades.
related
Yeah.
than we did.
hate crimes.
Yeah, especially when you have separate genders in the household.
Okay.
It got
Find out who
pretty
the favorites
hairy.
are.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, it's been fantastic, and the kids get so excited.
Yeah.
They seem to come in with more energy every day, and our adults, you start seeing them
Oh
dragging.
gosh. Yeah.
It's like
No,
all
it's a
right.
power. I was in the foyer, and just that many kids running around. I just felt my energy sapping. I wasn't doing anything, and I was just like, "Oh, I need to take a nap." But I've found that if I have a cart and I put stuff on it and just push it around,
Yeah.
then people just
People
assume
think
I'm
you're
doing
busy.
something. Leave me alone. But no, I've kind of been helping with the food and stuff. But it is nice not being, remember the youth ministry
Oh,
days
yeah.
when you're over like
You're involved
either
in everything.
recreation
Yes.
or fifth grade or sixth grade.
Yeah.
And my goodness, you're worn out. And we'll talk to Logan next
week.
episode. Yeah. And just kind of hear about his experience and some of this other stuff. But
Because he got back from Costa Rica, and he is leading fifth
immediately,
grade.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so but hey, he's young. I mean,
Right.
he's 28,
Yeah.
dude. He can still
He's
do
got to
this.
pay his dues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of us are
We've been there.
50. So it's harder now to do some of this
and
stuff.
some 50 and change.
50 and change.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Costa Rica,
yeah,
dude, how was it?
it was.
Tell us everything.
It was amazing. We had 16 students ranging from, I guess, 9th to 11th grade with 3 leaders. And these kids were awesome. It was very hot. In fact, Greg Smith with Instep said it may be the hottest he's ever experienced with a team down there.
Really?
The heat,
It
the
was hot
humidity.
when we were there, but
Yeah. I mean, Costa Rica always
Yeah.
going to be hot.
Right.
But
But it was almost unbearable. But the kids, they were resilient. They did great. We did a program for a number of schools focusing on the lost sheep. And so they had a skit, we had music, we had crafts, we had recreation. And we took that to, I don't know, about 9 different schools, right?
Wow.
And just sowing those seeds across the community. And the students were able to just share their testimony with the skit. Just seeing these high schoolers, on the ground acting like sheep was great. They just were willing to put themselves out there and and share testimonies they haven't done before. Build relationships with kids. Look for the ones that may be outside and not engaging, and try to go find them, kind of like the lost sheep, right? It seems like they could find that lost sheep. So I was just very, very proud of the way these kids stepped up. They served, they worked hard. So just fantastic. It was a great trip. A lot of these kids, it was their first mission trip. And my prayer going into it was that, man, they would just see Jesus more clearly than ever before. They would see an impact. And I think that prayer was answered. I think, between the service that we did, our team debriefs, the devotions that the kids led, the testimonies, the worship services that we attended, the home visits, we made some home visits and delivered food to some elderly folks in the community. I really think these students did, get a closer glimpse of Jesus and see an impact with these kids and our translator.
That's awesome. Yes. And so that was so cool to find out that Theo, was that her name?
Yeah. So Theo, she was about 19 years old. She was the granddaughter of our bus driver. So the driver that they had hired to take us around everywhere, they engaged her to be our translator. She actually stayed with Jesse. She was Jesse's roommate in the hotel. And at the beginning of the week, she was young, a little nervous, still trying to get used to how you translate, because she hadn't really ever done that before, even though she knew both languages. She was just hesitant, right?
Yeah.
And even just nervous, new people. But as the week went along, she got more engaged, got better at translating, became more confident. And so Jesse had invited her to our team meetings at night, and I think around the third night she decided to come to our team meeting and she told us, "Man, I've got a little bit of autism," and today at one of the schools there was a kid with autism that I was able to go talk with. And I feel like we encouraged her that God put him in her path. Just to encourage her so she can encourage him. So that was the first glimpse of God maybe working in her life. But then as she's listening to our students give their testimonies, and many of our students, their testimony basically is, look, a lot of them grew up in a Christian home, but they needed to have their own faith. They needed to have their own personal relationship with Jesus. And I guess her background coming out of a little bit of a Catholicism and maybe some religion versus relationship, that really resonated with her. And so it was Thursday night when we were at the youth service, and Logan opened up Psalm 23 to preach. And he asked her to translate Psalm 23. And so as she's looking at Psalm 23, her face just fell, and she couldn't speak as tears started to flow. And she said, this was the psalm that was on my wall when I was a child. And it's talking about, my shepherd. And all week it's talking about the sheep. And so everyone in the congregation with the team kind of knew right then that things were happening in her heart. So after the service, she sat with Jesse, and Logan came over, and they explained to her the gospel, and she prayed to surrender her life to Christ. And she realized that the entire week we've been talking about the lost sheep with these schools. And we had been telling these kids how Jesus pursues that lost sheep who's far away from Jesus, and he comes and he pulls us back into the fold and wants to love us. And she felt like she had been the lost sheep, that Jesus was pursuing her all week long. And so it was just a fantastic thing. So Thursday night, we were able to celebrate with her. So we had one final school visit on Friday morning. Actually, we split the two different schools, but the one that she went to, we asked her, would you share with the kids? And so she shared her testimony after we did the story of the lost sheep, how this week she had been the lost sheep. Jesus had found her, and she, surrendered her life to Christ. Wow. It was just amazing. So at the end of the week, she didn't want to leave. She did not want to go back home to her school. She wanted to stay with us, but we encouraged her, get involved with a community, of Bible believers, and continue to grow in Christ. So for our students to be able to experience that and see how God moved in her heart the entire week in a tangible way, was great, because we sowed seeds with students around schools, but to see that specific story live in action, I just thank the Lord they got to see that, and then her life was changed. That tied right in with the story that we were. I
just love that Thursday night she gives her life to Christ. Friday she's sharing her own testimony, and I'm like, well, we haven't gone through the 12 spiritual laws. We haven't. Do you know enough? It's the thoughts that we have in our mind is, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to say. But here you have this young lady who has trusted Christ and said, hey, this whole week, this is what we've been talking about. They're talking about me. Yeah. Talking about all of us, that we're in desperate need of a Savior. And, it's just, I'm just thinking at Woman of the Well, I'm thinking all these people that Jesus healed, and he just, come meet the man who knew everything about me. Come meet the man who changed my life, and it's like, well, what did he do? He did everything. Just come see, and just that passion that overflows out of somebody's heart that has truly been transformed. And Theo's got a lot of growth ahead of her. Yeah. But if she would stay passionate in love with Jesus and just continue to be honest and do what he's calling her to do and share that testimony, God's going to bless that young lady's life in such an awesome way. And I believe her grandfather or father?
Her grandfather.
Her grandfather was the one that drove us around previously.
Alfredo.
Love Alfredo. Yeah. He was awesome. Talked to all the kids, and they had a great time. And several of them that just said, hey, I was like, all right, scale of 1 to 10, right? You got to throw things out to kids where they don't understand it. And every one of them to the T, not together, this was on separate conversations, came back, and they were like, solid 8. Solid 8. And I was like, solid 8 in a student's life, dude, it's like a 14. It was a great trip. They did say they didn't know if they needed any rice and beans for a while.
I know.
But other than that, and we experienced a very similar thing, just different cultures, and it's
very much a staple. The rice.
Very much a staple of everything that you do is rice and beans. But so what'd y'all do for fun?
Yeah. Well, the hotel we stayed at had a nice pool and slides, so they were, We did a lot of swimming. Some of the boys would get up early in the morning to work out. I couldn't believe it, doing sprints and in this.
John and I did that when we were down there. It's something about being in Costa Rica.
They could have told me that they were doing it, and I would have not known otherwise. But,
but they did that. We did do a zip line canopy tour. So one afternoon we were able to squeeze that in, which was it was amazing. So this zip line, if you know, Costa Rica has a number of those, and they're beautiful. But it was kind of rainy the day we did it, which made the zip line really fast. And so we were flying down these half-mile zip lines in some places, and the kids had such a great time. And then we noticed that we were getting splattered with brown stuff. I thought maybe rust or something. And so we got to the end of a platform, and my face was covered. Okay, I'm not sure why. Mine seemed worse than others. I asked the guide who was leading the zip line, I said, "What is this brown stuff we're getting all over us?" And he said, "It's monkey poop." And I kind of waited for him to laugh, ha ha, monkey poop. And he didn't laugh. I said, "Say that you're serious, right? Monkey poop?" He's like, "Yeah, monkey poop." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, the monkeys will walk along the zip lines when they're not in use, and they'll poop. And so when you do the zip lines in the rain, it splatters all over the people that are doing the zip lines. So the kids have these brown stuff all over them. Turns out it's monkey poop." And
so then you go back to the hotel and watch the movie Outbreak.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we got.
Wonder how many kids are going to actually come back with you.
All of us got the monkey flu. Now we were able to wash our faces and stuff at the end of the zip line, but then once we got back to the hotel, people were certainly wanting to get that off. But it didn't freak them out as much as
some of those kids had the whole time.
Right. Even the middle school boys. Showering.
Some just jumped in the pool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But the zip line was fun, and then the final afternoon we did go to the beach because Jaco is close to the beach, so we spent some time there. Some boys ran a mile down the beach, and others went hiking on rocks and went into the surf, and it was just a great.
Was
great
it the
trip.
public beach there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Beach over there.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it really is. And I love Pastor Carlos and love Alfredo, all those guys that just really have got to build a good relationship with on a couple of different times now that I've had the privilege of being in Costa Rica. And
but these kids, they stepped up. They had different opportunities to share their testimony, and many of them had written it out ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them hadn't really thought through that, and they were able to share those at the men's night, the women's night, the church service with the kids. So we tried to give as many as possible and who wanted to an opportunity to share their testimony, and it was great to see them step up and get out of their comfort zone and be authentic. Some folks had some really difficult circumstances in their life, and they were able to share that. And it was just very sweet to see how God had been moving in all their lives. They were willing to share that with others so that they too could be encouraged with their own walk with the Lord. So,
and I'll brag on Logan. He's done a good job of doing that in the youth ministry on Wednesday nights. Is he'll have the upperclassmen share their testimony to the younger, the 9th and 10th, and then doing the same with the 8th graders, speaking to them. So they're getting to do that. And the Friday morning men's group that I have been, I haven't lately because of just projects, but that's one of the things that Brian Mullen got those guys sharing their story. Mm-hmm. And man, some of those guys have never done that before. And so that they're doing that at a young age. And I'll say, just growing up, when I was in, I think as early as 8th grade, going on mission trips with the other students, one of the biggest early leap forward in spiritual development. I mean, just seeing God move, sharing my faith, seeing people accept Christ, and being kind of on mission, just even for a short time, really just brought my faith to life in a way that nothing else to that point had. And so you had kind of put that out there for the adults on Sunday when you were sharing a little bit that, look, they've beat you, many of you to the punch. And so that is something I would recommend. We got a lot of different opportunities for mission stuff locally, as well as, in other countries that, it was great that our students got that opportunity, but there's a lot of those kind of chances out there. And so,
and y'all are taking one, like in a week or so.
Yeah,
now, right?
1
19th?
week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So no, 17th.
17th.
So next Wednesday night, I guess we're heading out to Turkey and Egypt, and so we will be in Istanbul, Cairo for with Wahid and Lila Waba, who are over 4G3 for the Global Glory of God, is what it's called here stateside. And over there, it is MELTI, which is Middle Eastern Leadership Training Institute. And so they work with the pastors in South America. Well, no, not South America, in Africa and the Middle East, working with them, teaching them discipleship. So we'll be teaching stuff. I think we're doing a Rick Warren series, Unshakable, which is different from the Unshakable series we just got done with. But we'll be taking time teaching that, doing some VBS stuff. What all?
Yeah, encouraging these pastors through the book of Daniel. There are some folks coming from another church as well, but from our church,
a couple churches. One from Alabama, and some of the trustees. Gotcha. So Wahid's brother, Wagdi, is coming, and some other people from the other coast in California. Yeah,
but myself, Tanya, John April, and then Dan and Barbie Slay from here will be going to join Wahid and Lila, just to encourage these pastors, help lead some of the sessions, taking care of the kids. There'll be some women's sessions, so it's just going to be a lot to encourage these pastors, and it'll be just I think an honoring time for the Lord to work in their lives, and also give us a different view of 4G3 and a different culture as well, and learn more about how they encourage these folks in that part of the world.
They, I got to go a couple years ago when it was Egypt, and it was, this is like a by invitation only for these pastors. And so they hand select these pastors, and they really not only train them, but give them some great experiences. And we'll get to ride on the coattails of that with some of the things that we'll get to see. Just some bucket list kind of stuff. Just amazing. But
so y'all get to build a pyramid? Is that what I heard?
That's craft time. Yeah.
Okay.
For VBS. No, but we, I don't know what all they have planned, but we did 4-wheelers in the desert. We rode camels up to the pyramids, and
get a picture of Wallace and Tanya on a camel together.
There you go. That would be
two humps.
Yeah, I didn't get the 2 hump.
Yeah. And so just amazing stuff that I was in kind of a dune buggy with another guy, and we were both, this isn't real. This isn't real. It was so cool. And so and just how cool it was to meet these pastors and build relationships with them, that when we brought them here to come speak at the church during Missions Month, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. Okay. That it was just so good to see them again. And so we'll get that. I'm glad to be able to share that with April, and glad that, Tanya will be there as well. And so it's going to be a great trip.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So many exciting. How many we got going to Brazil now?
So Brazil, there's 8.
8 of them.
The women's trip that John and Jeannie Johnson are leading that trip with 8 folks to work with the church that they served when they were missionaries in Brazil. And so they're planning out a women's conference, a VBS, and so that is July 7th through 17th. So that's just exciting for Jeannie and John to be able to go there. Maybe they're kind of their swan song, they said. Not sure they'll get to go there again, but bringing some other ladies from the church to go and help support that down there.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more about that. Yeah.
And it's crazy, a few months back, we kind of get in this mindset of, man, I can't wait till summer when we'll have a break. And it's, insane.
Yeah, we forget that hasn't happened. So,
right.
And it will not happen.
Right, yeah.
But the next one that most people could be a part of would be Boston.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's September the 1st.
It is,
Looking at September the 1st.
Leaving around the 30th of August, coming back September 2nd to help Kings Hill Church with the big move. It's a fun trip because we mix in the vacation piece and the service piece. to hopefully see a Red Sox game, Boston tour, and then help Kings Hill with the big move where they help these college kids move on September 1st. It's a huge outreach for that church. Last year, after the big move, they had 43 visitors the next Sunday.
Yes.
Just because of the love that the church and the supporters show to the community. So that's an exciting trip.
And Jonathan and those guys, they're exploding right now. I mean, God's doing some cool things at Kings Hill. And so I'm so excited. I'm glad I get to go back this year.
Yeah.
And I've encouraged a lot of my discipleship guys to go with us. And because there's something about a small group that gets to go do missions together.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that trip. And hopefully we'll get a few more of you that go, hey, you know what? I can give 3 or 4 days and go up and have fun and, be a part of this. Is it hard? Yeah. But it's fun. And there's always something for you to do. I mean, I got to where I was helping pass out waters and do some different things because, Boston doesn't believe in elevators. And so everybody's moving to the 3rd floor somewhere. And I'm like, all right, I can't walk up another set of, stairs that look like this.
Right.
And, but it was so much fun to be with that group last year and being a part of that. And so really looking forward to that this next year as well. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, a lot of mission stuff.
A lot of mission stuff going on. But when we're in town, we're in church.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
so, one of the things that we're talking about right now is how do we become fully equipped? It's not how do we become fully equipped. It's that we already are fully equipped in Christ. And so just, continuing through the book of Colossians, setting up some of those daily habits of going, okay, who's the source? Jesus is my source. How do I live with that? So I need to realize the gospel every morning. It gives me the ability to walk through the day. Last week we talked about what it's like to grow and really pursue the will of God, wanting that to be the driving factor in our life, affect every decision that we make. And then how do we continue to grow in other areas of our life, whether it's growing in faith or, just kind of seeing some of those different things. So I thought Sunday went really well as we unpacked a little bit more of Colossians 1. We're going to be kind of walking through a little bit more of Colossians 1 this coming week and talking about the sufficiency of Christ. I'm not going to be preaching that message. My cohort over here on the right, the bald guy and the duo of On Second Thought, John will be preaching that this coming weekend, but very excited to just continue that series. And sometimes we were talking about it before this thing even started. Sometimes there's some repetition that gets said and gets done, and sometimes I already know that, and that's the fear of having anything that's repeated. But sometimes God just goes, hey, knucklehead, hello, I'm repeating this for a reason.
Right.
It's not just because I ran out of things to say. It's no, this is something you need to nail down and get. Yeah. And
I'll stop repeating it when you start doing it.
I'll stop repeating it when you start doing it. Exactly. God said, I want you to know that, we don't have a failure to communicate on my end. It's a reception end on your side, and so, but it's just good to be reminded. And so I'm excited this weekend that you're up, this summer, we're going to hear from both of you guys. And so I love that. I love that we've got guys that are qualified on staff to be able to preach the word of God, to open it up. All 3 of us have different communication styles, and it always is great to connect with people on a different level, inside of our church. And so very excited to see that this coming weekend, man.
Yeah. One thing I loved about this passage you preached on Sunday, when you look at it, Paul's actually praying those things over the Colossians. And sometimes when I pray for people, it's not those things. I might pray for their health or decision making or whatever it might be. But he's like, I am praying for your faith. Yep. I'm praying for your wisdom. I'm praying for to have knowledge of his will. I'm praying for you to have power to persevere. All these things he lists in that passage, he's praying for them. And it's just a reminder to me that when I pray for people, those are some things I could pray for them.
Absolutely.
Not just their health or decision or family, but those specific things. They'll have knowledge of his will. They'll have power through persecution. They'll bear fruit. All those things in that passage that he's wanting for the Colossians is maybe just convicting for me when I pray for people.
Oh. Yeah, and when you think about how do I pray for my kids? That they get into a certain college, that they but that right there is a perfect roadmap for that they learn how, wisdom and bear fruit. And so that's whether they're still in the house or out of the house, that's ongoing, praying for our own kids, praying for ourselves and our family, and then our fellow brothers and sisters. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Love so I'm looking forward to this weekend as well. I'm having my own big move with Boone. We're moving him up to the house in Atlanta from Macon, and working on the big deck project in my backyard, but also the sermon. I'm looking forward to that. So I love this series in Colossians this summer, and I think it's a good thing to be putting out in front of our people, and it's resonating with folks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, anything else you want to cover? We've touched a lot.
Yeah.
We got a lot
as
happening.
Always, got a lot going on. Yeah. Tonight is, won't have this, but tonight we get to ordain Grady. And so I'm very excited about that. Love a homegrown kid that we have seen the hand of God be upon his life, and seeing him taking that step of saying, I'm surrendering to God's call on my life and what he has in store. And so, even if you aren't able to be there tonight, you're still a part of that. And so, continue to pray for Grady. And it's so important for us to make sure that we are pouring into that generation so that we continue to see people take that step in ministry. And so I think that's what excites me the most.
Yeah. It was neat getting to sit down with him the other day.
Yeah.
And just kind of asking him some questions, but also giving him some,
great feedback.
Our stuff that we've learned in ministry, sometimes the hard way. And hopefully he can be more equipped and avoid some potholes that maybe we stumbled across or into.
100%.
But he's a great addition to the team, for sure.
If anyone listening doesn't know him that well, let me encourage you to get to know him. He is fantastic. He's
servant heart.
Godly, smart, funny. He's great. So if you see him, encourage him in this moment as he's getting ordained, set apart for gospel ministry. I mean, God's got his hand on him, and he's going to have an impact for the Lord throughout the rest of his life. He's great.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us and for watching the episode. Wallace, thank you for joining us and for all that you do. I know you're probably catching up still on sleep just in time to take some other long flights. Right. I know that one to Istanbul is going to be a jog. So, but we thank you for watching the episode. Do all the hits, like, subscribe, shares, comments. But thank you for all that you do here at PCBC, and hope you have a great rest of your day, and God bless.
Well, that's it for this episode of On Second Thought. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. If you have a question or thought, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to find out more about your church on the corner, check us out at pcbchurch.org. We'll be back next week with more. So until then, have a great week and God bless.